Okay, we are live. No. There we are. This is much better. What's happening? Yeah. So, what you wanted to talk about today?
I'm talking with my friend here, Mong. Mong is short for an East Coast name. My young friend here tried to play me some Chicago news on the radio. And then I listened for a while, then I said, Mong, I don't want to listen to no Chicago news, man. Listen, I'm out of American, whether black or white, I'm out of American folk. You know, whether you call them Africans in their diaspora, whatever, I'm out of them. I spent almost half of my adult life under the subjugation of so-called black Americans or African Americans, if you are polite.
Okay.
You get my drift?
Yeah.
I had gotten out of the grip of the grip that the Boers had on me in apartheid South Africa. And I got myself into the American system by way of church.
Okay.
You understand what I mean?
Yes.
African Methodist Episcopal Church, which has got the name African, but it's more American than it is African.
Then why they should just call it American Episcopal?
I had to fight that battle for them for a very long time. The press in South Africa used to write it as American Methodist Episcopal Church, and I would be out there in defense of the real name.
I see.
And that is African. These people came from Africa. Wasting my energy in telling folk that these people came from Africa. They were taken as slaves, as cargo, human cargo, across the seas. You get my drift?
Yes.
And I was very an apologist for themselves because I was really in their grip, you know. Yes.
So you hated the subjugation that they had.
No, I didn't hate it. I must be honest. I didn't realize it was subjugation. It was a good trip to be with Americans.
Okay, of course, I mean, back in the day, everyone thought Americans were honorable.
Yeah.
Everybody was saying, the Americans are coming. We need to be prepared. Oh, the Americans are coming.
But listen to what happened one day. I was a pastor at Orlando West AME Church. And the African-American bishop was my friend, Bishop Hinning, of course. And he popped up at my church one Sunday or Saturday. We had an event there. My daughter, my firstborn daughter, was about 15 years old then. And Bishop Hinning stopped in a, Mercedes-Benz, model of the year, outside my parsonage. And my daughter came to me and said, Daddy, is it his car? I said, well, not directly. At least it is a church car. We buy them cars when they come here because they're bishops. They need to be mobile and more flexibly mobile, more comfortably mobile. So we buy them the Mercedes-Benzes and so on. And my daughter said, and Daddy, none of you has this kind of car. And this guy comes here, you buy him this car. You guys don't have this kind of car.
You're trying to appease him.
Appease the bishop.
The bishop.
No. If we talk trying to appease him, it was not. I was trying to explain
to your daughter,
to my daughter, that this is the tradition that we are all following.
That
our seniors had done it for many years. It was almost the AME Church had been more than 100 years in the country.
I see.
And we had bought the bishop the best of cars. Before Mercedes, it was the Buicks. It was the Buick.
The Buicks.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Okay. So you always afforded them the courtesy.
Yes.
Jesus Christ.
More than courtesy, man.
Yes, man. You were bending backwards.
We afforded them the royalty.
Yes. The royal treatment.
Yes, they were always driven by somebody,
So they had a chauffeur.
Selected pastor chauffeur, driving them around and so on. Well, they could not manipulate, they could not maneuver their way around South Africa.
They were not familiar with the roads and the places,
Yes,
I see. Yes.
I just used the word manipulate. Perhaps it is the right word.
Manipulate the
country. You know what I mean?
Americans.
Yes.
Oh,
And then, so they went on like that with this guy's chauffeur driving them. And it was also, we were comfortable with that because
you were made to be comfortable.
Yes, and we also sounded like them. We looked like them. We dressed up like them.
You wanted to be them. You wanted to
Very
be
seriously, so we wanted to be like them. You know what I
them.
mean?
Yeah, man.
So they were transferring this image onto us, and we were happy to wear it. Yes. So what I'm trying to say is that when my daughter said that, only then did I awake to the fact that, hey, my goodness, here we are in slavery. It took my 16-year-old daughter to say that. And then I began to be
awakened.
Woke. Yes.
Woke
to this. Awakened to this. Like one of the bishops, Bishop Robinson, had come to this country and said, all you guys are sleeping giants. At least it was fair enough to say that. You are sleeping giants. On that day, I discovered that, man, we are sleeping giants. We must correct this. But it is something that is incorrigible. Even today, they're still riding the best car. And I'm out of the system. So
the church system.
Oh, yes, completely so. So how do I go back and listen to Chicago radio? You know what I mean?
I see. You're talking as if you're one of those guys from Southeast Asia who said, we looked up to you Americans after the Second World War. You saved us from Japan. But after that, you started to brutalize us.
Yes.
Those are the Vietnamese, the Cambodians,
when you
the
sit with an American across the table anyway, after shaking hands with them, that's why I don't shake hands anymore. I bump people with a fist. Because when you sit with them if I was in the church, I would be bound to shake
hands.
And if I bumped him with a fist, he would give me an inferior charge. He would hit me.
You are insubordinate.
Yes, I'm insubordinate, and I think I'm something. Why can't I shake his hand? And when they shake your hand, they crush.
They crush you with. They clasp with a crush.
They show you who's more powerful. You can't even say issue.
No way. Oh my God, this sounds like a mafia organization. It sounds like some mafia organization.
That's why they say, you know, there's an expression that says, you scratch when it ain't itching.
Okay.
You don't scratch when it ain't itching. That is their expression. I grew up in their language. You know, I know more American expressions than any other English expressions.
I see.
You get my
I
see. Sometimes people say when I talk, I sound like them. I cannot help it. Because I cannot talk like in
English,
British.
The British.
It is too flat for me.
Yeah, I see.
You know, Americans pull their sentence. And they think on their feet.
They add a bit of flair, I guess.
Yeah, and as they talk, they pull their sentence, and it helps them think faster on their feet. Unlike when you talk like a staccato, like some
stuck-up British man.
You understand what I mean?
Yes.
And or South African English, spoken by white people.
Of course. Which is really stiff.
Which is a lot of young people are speaking now. They're speaking that language. Because they are being taught in Moral Seas and these other schools. The others talk like European South Africans. Man, it sucks.
I see.
You know what I mean?
I see.
So don't ever sell me any African thing.
African?
Mole fashion labo raiso.
I see.
Mole fashion labo raiso.
I see.
Yes.
Okay, man. Because it sounds like a mafia organization. When the mafia don comes out of a car, you have to hold his umbrella, and then you have to chaperone him, and you have to make sure that his shoes are polished.
No, you know what?
You do all these funny...
In America, they do some of those things. You can call them courtesies, but they don't overdo them like we, the so-called Bantus, do to them.
I see.
In America, most of bishops drive themselves because it is in their country, of course.
And they're comfortable with their layout.
And they drive their own cars.
Ah.
No district, so-called Episcopal district, buys them a car.
Ah, I see.
Sometimes they are even driven by their sons, who are also aspiring to be bishops one
In
day.
the future, I see.
So one of our own bishops, when he became a bishop, when a car that is bringing an American bishop to your ground, anywhere where you are, you know what you do? You rush to open the door for the bishop.
Of course, that's what the mafia expect you to do as a subordinate.
Open the door for the bishop and so on. So I was one of those who liked opening doors for bishops. Not that I was a numbskull.
Yes.
It was a way of self-promotion.
It's a way of sucking up, man.
And also not promotion for positions, like they call them presiding elder. No, for just my comfort. And my comfort meaning the American must know who I am. Because if they don't know who you are, they don't want to know you.
Ah, the hubris.
Yeah,
the hubris that they have.
Yes.
Yeah.
They have to know who you are. Then
so you have to be noticed.
You have to be noticed. It's their culture.
Oh my.
So if you don't make yourself available to be noticed by Bishop, you're in the background and you think Bishop is my master, he'll take care of you. He might not take care of you.
Oh my God.
You know? So when you are the one that is noticed, you are you are able to negotiate certain positions.
So you're putting a foot at the door in a way.
Yes. And then for me, who has a political outlook all the time, I knew how to do it. So that I can be in a good place. And I ended in very good places. Until one of our bishops, South African born bishop also, would come in a Mercedes-Benz also of his own. He was the second elected bishop of our church, you know, from the connection. And then the guys did not rush to open the door for him. Because they thought, Akinta Taruna.
Ramote, we know this guy. He's one of us. He's our guy.
You can just say bishop from a distance.
Yes.
And some of us still rushed to open his door. And he chastised the guys. He said to them, you used to open doors for Americans. Now, you are no more open doors for me.
Oh. Jeez, man, Jesus
kind of
Christ.
slavery is dangerous, but if you enjoy the romance of being an AME kind of thing, you know. For instance, there is a church also called AME Zion.
Okay.
It is in South Africa. Never gotten big. The one that gotten big is AME Church.
Because of the American connection.
No. They all both have American connection.
I see.
Ours got big because already we were established from the Ethiopian movement. We had set up stations and churches and
missions and
yes, before they came.
I see.
So they inherited us, who had broken away from the so-called mainstream English churches, especially.
The Anglican.
Broken away from the Anglicans, Methodists,
I see,
Presbyterian.
Yes.
You understand what I mean?
I see.
So we were a prepared lot.
And you were just taken as you are.
We were taken as we are.
And groomed for their...
Undermined first.
Yes, of course.
And it was also called part of grooming you.
Yes.
You know?
Of course. I mean, in the mafia, you have to iron the Don's clothes as an apprentice.
That's right.
You have to iron the clothes, shine the shoes. Oh my God.
There was a saying in our church that you must polish the bishop's shoes.
Mm-hmm.
One of my grannies
my God,
said to me, Paul, what's wrong with you? You'll never be promoted. I don't see you polishing the presiding elders. Those are the cabinet of the bishop. You must go and polish the presiding elders' shoes.
Man.
I said, Mama, I'm not made that way. That's not how I'm wired.
I can't
cannot do it. I have my way of going up without polishing. No nigger shoes. You know what I mean? No nigger shoes.
So you took it as tantamount to licking the shoe. Might as well lick the shoe.
Needless to say, no local nigger.
Yeah,
shoes,
of course. I see. So,
you know what I'm talking
about? But it's like a mafia organization in so many ways.
You keep on saying that, but
you guys didn't see that. I'm saying that because I've seen. I was watching some documentary, some Yakuza documentary, those mafia in Japan, and they do a lot of things. You have to cook for the Don, iron his clothes, wash them, do the laundry, iron the shoes, carry his umbrella in the rain while rain is pouring on you. There's a lot of things.
In the AME Church, there were times that you have to visit presiding elders where he's stationed, because they were stationed in churches now.
Yes.
You have, even now they have their own houses, but you must show up at his house sometimes, and sometimes with a pocket of vegetables.
Yes, of course.
And sometimes with the bishops, they would say this, they would bring along a sheep, a live sheep, during Christmas.
To be slaughtered.
So that is all mafia.
Yes, it's very weird.
You lived in the mafia world. Me, I was not aware that I was in
oh my God.
Until now, that you say you call it mafia, I used to call it something else. You know? There was a writer, American theologian, Cone, James H. Cone.
Okay.
James H. Cone used to call us pastors, because I was one of the pastors. He used to call us field slaves. I was a field slave. Presiding, that's a system of the AME Church. Presiding elders are house slaves.
So house nigger.
Yeah, they're closer to the dawn.
Jesus,
but they don't call the dawn.
But it's the dawn.
Bishop. They call
it's
bishop.
The dawn.
Bishop.
This structure, this pyramidal structure that you guys have.
Even when guys would come and say, Bishop, I would just look at them and call him an American and say, Bishop. You know, I'd mastered all those things. I was also a translator.
Yes, of course.
Bishop. And then go to the Western Cape, the Cape color, say, Biscop. I say, listen to these niggers. I'm a bishop. and for the time that...
And it's so weird, you never felt... You didn't see that as humiliating when you were there.
No, it was a game that I was playing. It was a game that
But anyone looking from outside can see that you guys are being humiliated.
A lot of people, intellectuals in South Africa never joined the AME Church.
Yes.
Intellectuals, African intellectuals, they rather stuck with the white mainstream churches than they saw that long ago.
So they were wise to this.
Yes, we had a very few academics in African American, and I used to think these guys are African American. They're African, and they drive to an Anglican church, a Wesleyan church. What's wrong with them? They had long seen through that.
Yes.
And one of them told me a story that, man, you know, some people, when Americans were coming for the first time, they used to watch the conferences conducted by the Americans, and Americans, by the way, when I was in America, one relative of mine said, don't call them Americans, they want to be called African American. But you and I know that they're more American than they are.
They're not African.
You know what I'm talking?
Yes.
Now, so I'm drifting now, and then I'm losing my track. So I was saying that, the bishop was giving assignments to pastors to go to churches. And he was assigning them to areas he had never seen before himself. He had never known those to arid areas. And pastors would he would say, Sidila Molomo. They had practiced the bishop how to say it. And the guy would come cringing to take, but after that, with tears in his eyes, that he's either going back there or he's going for the first time. So guys were surprised. How do you take an appointment to somebody who has never lived? Sidila Molomo should be on the border of the former Botswana and Botswana.
Okay.
So this guy has never been there.
Jesus.
He gladly gives you an appointment to go there, to serve him, his church as a bishop. He won't even come and visit you there.
No, you're on
Because
your, own.
Your church is not A church, it's not a B church, it's not a C church.
You're a low tier.
You are a low tier. He'll see you only at the conference.
And that's it.
When the congregation has bought you a new suit and a new hat and new shoes because you are going to conference. He will see you looking a little smarter and pretending you are well off. You can make it in life. You understand what I mean? Yes. Incidentally, I was a dresser and I dressed myself up. I tailored my own clothing. So congregations, I served in urban areas most of the time, and people were clever enough to say, "Oh, Paul, you can't buy him a suit."
It's true.
You can't buy him a suit. You can't buy him
afford
shoes.
It. No ways.
I was never bought shoes. I was never bought even a handkerchief, man.
Jesus, man. I guess they thought of you as some kind of a snob, perhaps.
Well, you use the word snob. I tried my best not to be snobbish. I mixed there. Maybe you're right that I was at the level of snobs. Mm-hmm. But you know what I used to do? I used to make sure that when there's a break during the conference, a tea break or even
a lunch break or something,
I greeted people. I used to go to people and ask them how they are.
Okay.
So that I can remain
normal, human.
Yeah. I can walk with them, though I'm brushing shoulders with the herbs.
I see.
It worked for me like a miracle. And one of those tactics I had learned also from politicians. When Peg Botha tried to be a president of South Africa, F.W. de Klerk said, "Who's Peg Botha? The people don't know him." Mm-hmm. And somebody says, "Yes, he's a UN representative of South Africa."
He was an ambassador. Okay.
Ambassador, yes. And,
to the UN.
But de Klerk goes and greets the people in constituencies, in parliament. He asks them, "How are you doing? How's your family?
How are the children?"
Yes.
That's kind of thing.
Mandela used to use art garden servants. Mm-hmm. I cannot say that way. For garden expert, because we were garden experts. They would say, a garden manager would say, "How's your family? Mm-hmm. How are you having some children at college? Are you working towards that? Mm-hmm. How can we help you?" To an ordinary guy.
I see.
Yeah, that's why at some stage I refer to something like personal sovereignty.
I see.
You said there's nothing like that.
No.
But if somebody on top bestows you sovereignty, it becomes your sovereignty.
But it's liberty if it's given from the top.
Yes,
I understand you're using.
I like big words.
Yes, but it's liberty.
Liberty is too low for me.
Liberty is what
gives you a
get.
crown. Somebody puts a crown on your head, says, "Man, listen, I was talking with Mandela. He invited me to his office. We had tea together." It's a crown, man.
I see.
It's a crown that you don't even have to, genuflect to get.
Yeah, I understand.
You were just invited into the office and you had a snack. Man, that's sovereignty, man.
I guess it's like that thing if the Queen of England calls you for tea.
Yes.
It's like that kind of.
Look like you talk of states having sovereignty.
Yes.
But Mandela had his personal sovereignty.
Yes.
Because the Queen of England would call him, just like, "Hey, Mandela fella, can you come for tea tomorrow morning?"
He would hop on a jet
today. Where your highness, is it the highness? Where your highness, and so on. Right here, back here in Palace, Mandela. I'll be right in there.
And
the jets get ready.
Yes.
To fly to be there next morning.
Yeah.
So some personal sovereignty has been bestowed upon him.
I see. I guess, but we'll leave it at that for now. I think we will have more discussions of this kind.
We'll talk some more.
Yeah, we'll talk some more.
In fact, I'm happy that. Can you play that music that we're playing? There's just not a music. It's an anthem. It is an anthem put together by my people in the former Bukutetswana.
Yes.
and it speaks volume, even if you can despise them for having been a homeland, so to say, and later on, of course, an independent homeland. There was a lot of politics at play here.
Of course.
But it worked for those Botswana people's dignity. It was better than being just an AME Church pastor.
I see. You were respected further.
Yes.
I see.
You have something that you can call penumbra sovereignty as a group in the Botswana. I'll be writing about it sometime.
Okay.
Yes.